Give me a minute, and I want to talk about a theory surrounding how the Antonov 50 and the IL-22 were taken out. This theory is being advanced by a fellow by the name of Tom Cooper in Forbes magazine in an article written by David Axe. And if you don't follow David Axe at Forbes, he is a reason to get a Forbes subscription, boy. The guy writes about planes, tanks, trains, drones, and he is very illuminating. And in his interview with Mr. Cooper, who is a weapons expert and has knowledge of these things, Mr. Cooper advances a theory and gives some evidence as to why his theory may be an answer to how the Antonov or the A-50 and the IL-22 were taken out. It goes something like this. It starts on Saturday the 13th. On Saturday the 13th, we know that the Ukrainian Air Force struck targets, ground-based radar installations all over Crimea. Once those radars were taken out, especially in the northern part of Crimea, the enemy was blinded. They wouldn't be able to see. The terrain would keep them from seeing enemy aircraft coming from Ukraine at Crimea until they were coming right down their throats. So in order to get the thinking is that the Ukrainians strategically took those ground-based radars out in order to force the Russians to launch the A-50 and bring it closer so that they could get a good picture of what was happening on the ground and in the air in that area. And so on Sunday, Mr. Cooper postulates the A-50 and the IL-76, accompanied by two Su-34s, launched and began their reconnaissance and did it where they would normally never be, as far north as Berdyansk, just 75 miles from the front line. In preparation for this launch, the Ukrainians may have moved an S-300 air defense system along with a Patriot right up to the front line. Once they were there, once the Antonov or the A-50 was in the air, the S-300 missile battery illuminated the target. One of the Su-34s is reported to have detected a radar signature from a previously undetected S-300 missile system. Now, if this is true, Mr. Cooper goes on to suggest that what likely happened was the Patriot battery was kept in reserve with its radar off so that it was not detected. The S-300 did the initial illumination of the target. Then the Patriot was turned on, got its own targeting solution, fired its missiles. The Ukrainians immediately shut down the S-300, shut down the Patriot, and moved them out of there. And it all happened too fast for the A-50 and the IL-22 to identify the new targets. It has been suggested by Russian sources that the A-50 was hunting a previously unknown Patriot battery. If this is true, and it does fit with all of the available data, in fact, Mr. Cooper goes on to say that the damage pattern, the fragmentation pattern on the tail section of the IL-22 is consistent with a PAC-2 GEM, or guidance-enabled missile, from a Patriot. This is yet another example of the strategic ingenuity and brilliance of the Ukrainians. And if this sounds familiar to you, I would remind you that this theory was also postulated when those three Su-34s were taken out in one day. Right? The bait and switch. Light them up with the S-300, then take them out with the Patriot. Limiting the exposure of the very valuable Patriot system and successfully downing the targets. Further circumstantial evidence that something like this is what happened was President Zelensky's praise of the Patriot system at Davos. He just praised it as the most effective missile defense system in the world. And so my hat is off to the Ukrainians, and my appreciation to David Axe at Forbes for his brilliant interview with Mr. Cooper. And for anybody interested in this kind of thing, I would encourage you to go and read that interview. It's a good one. Thanks.